Alright, all you Digimon and Pokemon fans out there, Elisa Mousy here, and I'm going to discuss a very controversial point today. Which is better, Pokemon or Digimon? Growing up primarily on Digimon, I will admit to being a little biased, so please don't yell at me for that. I will give credit where I believe credit is due to Pokemon, don't worry. And I accept that we all have our different viewpoints. I'm just expressing and defending mine. First, the overall plot. In Pokemon, with the exception of the movies, the only real plot is to get the gym badges and become the best, while occasionally stopping Team Rocket along the way. That's it. It's been that way for so many years that, in my opinion, it's really getting old. New creatures, same story, really. In Digimon, with the exception of Seasons 1 and 2, have nothing to do with each other, plot or character-wise. Marcus Damon will never meet Takato Matsuki, and Izzy Azumi will never be able to discuss science with Thomas Norstein. The change in plot and characters is one of the many things that make Digimon fun. And it allows for fan series like this one. If you were to do a fan series of Pokemon, you'd really just have an Ash-like character that's not Ash, trying to become the best. Not really much wiggle room there, in my opinion. Now, my credit to the Pokemon movies. I'm especially partial to Mewtwo Strikes Back, Pokemon Forever, Pokemon Heroes, and Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Each has its own heart-wrenching moments where you don't really know if they'll be okay. In the show, everything all works out fine, and everyone always winds up okay in the end. In Mewtwo Strikes Back, Ash gets turned into stone. Now, you know it won't last, but it still hurts. In Pokemon Forever, remember this little cutie? She got turned into this, having to destroy the forest she loved so much, and ended up dying. That's not something you see in the show. In Heroes, Latios sacrificed himself to save everyone. And in Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, Lucario does much the same thing. You don't get that in the show. And now for the emotion from both shows. Yes, there are some sad moments, like when Ash had to let Butterfree go. But in Digimon, oh my god. You honestly don't know if everything's going to be okay, since people keep dying. Case in point, Wizardmon. Everyone who's watched Digimon remembers it. Sacrificing himself to save his best and only friend. The pain that caused cannot be matched from the Pokemon show. And of course, to drive the knife deeper, they did this in Season 2. Why? Anyway, on with my examples. Angemon, who died to save TK. Granted, he came back, but not everyone does. Wormmon did, after sacrificing himself to snap Ken out of his evil state, but in Tamers, remember this? Which led to this? Which led to this? Which powered this? Yeah. You never have a guarantee that everything will be okay for everyone in Digimon. Second example. Remember when Pikachu got brainwashed after losing his memory? That happened for one episode, and then everything was fixed and everyone lived happily ever after. Well, let me tell you a story. This guy, despite all appearances, actually isn't all that bad. But when he got the power he wanted, he turned into this, a psycho-killing machine. Tell me, would your precious Pokemon ever put something like this in its show? Taking a loved character and turning him into a killer, causing this, which led to... well, you get it. Now for the Pokedex and Digivice argument. I completely agree with the fact that a Pokedex is pretty much a Pokemon Google. There's a thing out there about how Digivices are trying to do too many things at once. Well, let me ask you this. Would you rather have a separate device to help your Digimon Digivolve, turn evil Digimon good, open a Digiport, get two Digimon to DNA Digivolve, Spirit Evolve, and give information on Digimon? Is it really reasonable to have a separate device for each thing? I don't really think so, because then they'd all need a bag like Mimi's, and that could slow them all down. The badges versus crest argument. Okay, I get that the badges were earned through hard work, and the crests were found in various places. But just because they found them doesn't mean they could use them right away. The Crest of Courage was activated when Tai had to overcome his fear of that electric fence. The Crest of Friendship was activated after Matt realized Joe was really his friend, while Joe was being squeezed to death. The Crest of Sincerity was activated when Mimi felt powerless to stop the Dark Tyrannomon from harming her friends and family. The Crest of Love was activated when Biyomon was badly hurt and Sora realized how much she cared. The Crest of Hope was activated when TK realized that there was still really hope left to defeat Piedmon, even after his friends were all gone. The Crest of Knowledge was activated when Izzy realized that his curiosity was part of what made him who he was. The Crest of Reliability activated when Joe risked his life to save TK from drowning, even though he himself couldn't swim. And the Crest of Light was activated after Wizardmon's death. The light grew inside Kari. So these kids didn't just get their crests. They earned them. Much more than Ash earned his badges. Mentors and guides. Okay, while Professor Oak, Professor Elm, and Professor Birch were cool, What about these guys? Genai, Azulongmon, Shibumi, who I think looks like Jesus, Seraphimon, and Commander Samson. These guys are cool, and at least a bit more hands-on. Genai had first saved the eggs a long time ago from Piedmon. Then, he installed a program on Izzy's computer to help them. Azulongmon returned the ability to digivolve to Ultimate. Shibumi gave the kids valuable information about the D-Reaper, as well as the fact that he helped create the Digimon in the first place. Seraphimon protected the kids. And Samson helped the kids constantly by getting them to the digital world and then stopping the enemy from following them and killing them before they got there. Sorry, Pokemon fans, but we've got the better mentors. And the better rivals. Sure, Gary's okay, but really? Matt, the guy practically tried to kill Ty, then they made up and became friends again. Okay, when I say it out loud, it sounds kind of bad, but it took a bit of work to get there again. Ken started out as the enemy. Koji hated Takuya from the start, but those two became friends too. And Thomas and Marcus couldn't stand each other for a long time, but they eventually made a great team. I guess my point is that the interaction between the main character and the rival is much more intense than those of Pokemon. The enemies now. In the Pokemon show, we mainly had Team Rocket. Pathetic. Funny, but pathetic. Digimon, we had Myotismon, a thing of nightmares for small children. We had Cherubimon, who was kind before he was so badly corrupted. And we had the D-Reaper, a form of energy that destroyed everything in its path. Sorry, Team Rocket, but you ain't got nothing on us. And now, my final argument. The Mega Evolution thing. You guys think it's all cool and everything? We did it first. Digimon was already using form of Mega Evolution over a decade ago. And the sequence for each was just fantastic. Pokemon just gets a little ball and then suddenly they're Mega Evolved. Boring. Alright, those are my arguments. Please don't yell at me in the comments for them. I am simply stating my opinion on the debates and where I stand. Well, see you next time. Elisa out.